Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm gonna show you guys how to get an Apex payout, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight on how to get more Apex payouts because it's not very easy. There are a lot of things holding us back, right? It's unrealized trailing drawdown. It's just trading in general because it's hard AF. No matter what anyone says, it's fucking hard. And just being a prop playing with prop firms you got to do it a specific way, right? Because a $50,000 account, $150,000 account, a $300,000 account isn't actually what they say it is, if that makes sense. Not like a false advertising type of deal, but a 50K account has $2,500 in drawdown, while a 300,000 account has $6,500 in drawdown, right? So you know, is the drawdown the real account size? I think so, right? Because as soon as you lose that, you lose the whole account, right? You can't just let the $50,000 go to zero and then you lose the account. It just doesn't work like that, right? And today we're going to focus specifically on Apex, and we're also going to go ahead and request our first payout in a few months. And we only have one account this time, but we do, however, have 19 more incoming. So we're potentially going to be getting $40,000 payouts, every cycle now instead of just like the 1,000 or something like that. We're going to get this time because we decided to change up our strats. So it's been about 4 or 5 months since I got a payout, right? In January, we hit, I believe, $95,000 in payouts in prop firms and about $50,000 in payouts on our personal account. So in January, we were sitting at a nice, tidy $145,000 in payouts just in the first month of 2025. Guess what's happened since then? It's been a until I started changing what I was doing, right? Started sizing appropriately. I started waiting for the right time. And I started really kind of thinking about how prop firms work and what they don't want us to know. So that's kind of what we're going to go over today. As you can see, I mean, our last payout was January 24th. Now, it was for 55,000, so it was pretty nice. And that's why I think Apex is still one of the best prop firms in the game. I mean, it only costs what? I mean, they recently raised the prices, but it's like what for a 50K account? It's like 1670 times 20. It's $334, right? For 20 50K accounts. And the activation fee is what they changed, right? So now it's $140 times 20. So I mean, you add that up, and you come out to a total of $3,134, right? Assuming you pass the eval the first time, get to the payout the first time. I mean, if you get to a payout, you're getting $40,000, right? So it's 20 times 2,000 times 20, it's $40,000, right? So if we subtract the $3,000 in cost, I mean, we're looking at a net profit of 36,866, right? I mean, where else can you get an ROI like that, right? I mean, obviously it's not easy. Probably blow a ton of accounts. I know I have. I'm probably sitting at like 1,200 evals. I think like 120 PAs. So I've blown a significant amount of Apex accounts, but yeah, we can see right here, blown. But I mean, look at this. This is what, $71,000 right here. So if we do the math, let's even be a little less conservative with it, right? So we'll do $32 times 1,200 evals. That's $38,400, right? Now we probably did get some discounts. Probably got like some $16 discounts. Maybe we paid 50 for some, so it's a nice little average. So we probably spent around $38,400 on just evals over the span of what, 3 years. And that's buying 20 accounts at a time, right? So it's not just one account getting blown and then buying another one and blowing it. It's stacks at 20, right? So let's do a little bit of math. So we have 3,800, 38,400 right there. And then the average PA fee before then was like about $120. So we had 120 PAs just about. So another $14,000 plus the 38,400. We're sitting at about $52,800 in cost with a total payout of, I mean, we had 9 times 3,000. So, I mean, I guess we could just do the math, right? 9 times 3,000 is 27,000 plus 55,000 because it's 2,700 times 20. Oh, so, okay, we actually had more than I thought. So we're sitting at $82,000 in payouts with our cost being 52,800 for a total net profit of $29,200. And that's just being like complete degenerate, like just trying to make money quick, which just doesn't work in trading, right? It's just something that doesn't work. And if you've tried it before, you'll know that it doesn't work because trading isn't a get rich quick scheme like everyone thinks it is. It's really just like a slow and steady, consistent building, and then eventually once you scale up, then you can make a ton of money very, very fast. And that's why Apex is one of my favorite prop firms, right? We were sitting at what, $82,000 in profit for a while, or like around there until we went on just a major degenerate spree where we just like blew like hundreds of accounts a day for like a couple weeks. It was just bad. I don't know what I was thinking. I was kind of pissed off, so I just started clicking, right? We were full porting. We were gambling on news. We were just doing dumb stuff that just didn't work. And even when it did work, we would hit the take profit, but our slippage would be so bad that we'd only pass maybe one account, maybe two, and then the rest would be like $3,000 away because we were full porting, right? So it just didn't work out. You got to get super lucky to do that kind of stuff. And then you still gotta, trade the funded accounts properly. So I mean, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about strategy while we take our payout right here, right? So hold on, 3,200. Hold on, because we can only go $500 into the buffer, $500 on the buffer. You got to get above $2,600. Oh, it tells us right here. The maximum we could withdraw right now is 1,194. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go ahead and hit the request button here and send that out. And boom, and now we're pending. We had 13 trading days. And then we also have all these evals, which is the reason why we're taking a payout. Usually I'd go for max payouts, but thinking about it, that's also pretty degenerate, right? I mean, if we have a payout, why wouldn't we take it, right? I mean, there's always a chance you do something stupid, you get caught on news on accident with too much size. Well, there's a lot of things that can go wrong that are kind of out of our control, and also under our control, but mental fucking state can come into play. So I mean, we're gonna change these into PAs here very soon. We just got the email saying we passed them. It says pass right there. So we'll get this payout hopefully approved. I don't think we broke any rules. And then we'll have 20 PAs, and we will be trading them live, starting next week. So if you want to see that, feel free to join me. But now let's talk about strategy. Okay. So what we're gonna do is take a look at what the current drawdown is on a 50K account, right? Now 1,500 is 1-to-1 ratio, profit to drawdown. The 50K, 3,000 to 2,500. That's like a small difference, maybe like a 10% ratio, maybe 15%, something like that. 100K, 2-to-1 ratio, profit target drawdown. 150K, a little less than 2-to-1. I mean, the 250K just bad, like rough. 300K, very, very difficult, right? Now, once you pass, this drawdown can come in handy. You know what I mean? It could, but passing is tough. How many e-bills are you gonna blow through? I always went with the 150Ks or the 250Ks personally, and we did get some payouts, but we blew a tremendous amount of them on the way. So this time we just went with the 50K. Don't think the 25K is very bad either. I mean, it's 1,500. The only thing is, it's a little bit expensive for the PA fee for 25K since the drawdown's so little. But you can just adjust the size and it should be fine. But also, the payout difference are different. I don't know what the 25K is, but the 50K is 2K per account. 150K is 2,750 per account. The 250K is $3,000 per account payout, and 300K is 3,500 per account. So I mean, you could get a max payout with Apex of about $70,000 every 8 days if you just trade it perfectly and always obey all the rules. Which the rules are a little bit tough to deal with. They're really the only one that's like a big deal is a 30% rule. Like one trade cannot take away more than 30% of your account, right? So and that counts for profit too. So let's say we did have a 50K account. We have $2,500 in drawdown, right? That's basically what our account will start with. Let's see what we can't go under. So we can't lose more than $750 in one trade, right? And that includes going into profit with the unrealized trailing drawdown and then, letting it run back on you, which is what we're going to go into for our next point, right? But just make sure if you are going to trade Apex, you keep this in mind. Very, very important. The 30% rule. Whatever 30% of your total account is, you cannot lose that amount in just one trade. 2 trades, 3 trades, 4 trades, it's okay. It doesn't, you just got to come back from it eventually or, make that money back. But yeah, just one trade. Don't let 30% of it go away. Otherwise, you will be denied a payout and you got to trade 8 more days. It's not the end of the world, but, why? Why not avoid it if you can? That is a lot of risk. Risking 30% of your account in one trade is pretty brutal. So that's going to bring us to our next point, right? What is our strategy here? So we recently decided to start trading micros because minis on a $2,500 account is just kind of crazy, right? I mean, the notional value of a mini is like 1.6 million, right? So, without margin on a personal account, you would need, like 20 something $1,000 to trade one mini, right? With margin, sometimes it's as low as $1,000 to trade one mini, right? Now, if you had $2,500 in your personal account, would you want to, trade with half the size of your account? I mean, it depends, right? $2,500, spend $1,000 on the mini contract, right? So let's say the trade goes against you, you lose $500. You close out because hit your stop loss, or you're just like, oh, I can't lose any more money. You panic close, whatever happens, right? Now you have $2,000 left, right? Trade one mini again, starts running, whatever direction. Oh my God, I have so much profit. You go up a little bit, you let it run back down, and you let it go negative. You hit the stop loss, or no, you don't even have a stop loss in this scenario. Let's say you lose $1,000. Now your total account balance is $1,000. You're about to get auto liquidated, and you just won't be able to trade a mini anymore, right? You'll have to drop down to micros. So I mean that's like 2-3 trades, right? Essentially, let's say you're risking a $500 to make $1,000, right? A 2-to-1 ratio. 50% of the time, if you're profitable, you'll be profitable, right? Or maybe it's 40%, something like that. let's think about it by adding trailing drawdown, right? Let's say you're going for the 2 to the 1, right? Let's say you're only risking 250 this time because you have unrealized trailing drawdown, right? So that means anytime you go into profit and the highest account equity or the highest equity you've ever had in that account goes up, it means you have now started accumulating unrealized trailing drawdown in that trade, right? Now, once you close it, you're good. It's fine, right? But let's say you're risking 250 to make $500, right? Now the trade is going up, right? It's going do 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 do. You're in long, it's going up. You're like, oh my god, I'm in $250 profit, right? Okay, sick. We're halfway there. Let's trail our stop loss to break even, right? We go to break even, boom, it slams down, stops us out, right? We get stop loss hunted, like happens all the time in the markets. Okay, now our $2,500 account is only at 2250. Okay, and now this is with a mini, right? A mini to lose $250 or make $250 in unrealized trailing drawdown, it only takes what, 10 points, 12 points, something like that, 11 points, 11 to 12 points on NASDAQ. That is very, very quick, happens in seconds, sometimes milliseconds, sometimes a whole minute. But I mean, that is just tremendously fast, right? Now let's say we were going for something a little more degenerate, like we want to follow the 30% consistency rule for a payout, right? We want to get to max payouts, so we got to have a total account balance of 4,600. We'll divide that by 30. So our highest profit day cannot be more than $1,380. Okay. So that means we got to have 5 days of, let's say, and we had to trade for 8 days. We got to keep that in mind. I mean, there's just no reason to go for this number, 30% of 4,600, because I mean that would be our max payouts. But we need 8 trading days. So I mean, we could do this in four days, 4-ish days, or 3 days of 1380. In maybe one trade or something like that. But it sounds all nice and dandy if it works out. But I mean, there's a very good chance it won't work out, right? I mean, to make $1,380 with one mini divided by 5, that's 276 ticks. Divide that by 4, that's 69 points. That's 70 points. Without hitting your stop loss, without going, to your with you trailing your stop loss like you probably should be doing if you're doing unrealized trailing drawdown, trading that much size. It's possible, but I think it takes a little bit of luck, right? It's the likelihood of this trade working out, more than half the time isn't very high. So that means about half the time this trade's going to go against you, right? And if this trade, let's say, goes up to $1,000 profit, and let's say you are practicing risk management and you are following your rules because you have been trying to and practicing for a very long time, so you're actually doing it. And this is best case scenario. You're not being greedy. You're like, oh, it's so close to my TP. I'm not just going to let it keep going. Let's say you did trail up your stop. Let's say you brought it like halfway, right? You want to give it some breathing room, right? I mean, if you're up $1,000 in one day or one trade, probably a good idea to trail your stop loss very, very hard, kind of like we did yesterday, and we let our trade run for 100 points, and we trailed our stop loss very, very aggressively, maybe with 10 points, 15 points of wiggle room, and it just kept on going off the cliff and it went straight to our TB. Sometimes that'll happen, right? But that's not very often, right? Unless unless there's something, like a news related event or something like that. So we'd probably only, risk it coming back, $500. If we did $500, that would be that'd be too much, right? I mean, it wouldn't break the 30% rule with Apex, but that'd be 1/5 of our account. We just lost an unrealized trailing drawdown. We're still $500 in profit because we drug up our stop loss. But the thing is, now 1/5 of our account is gone, and we're trading such huge size. It just, the likelihood of it working out is not very good. We've tried it, we've had success with it, but more often than not, we can't be consistent with it. It's just too hard, just too damn hard. Period. Right? You need luck on your side, and you have to be perfect pretty much every single time you take a trade, because NASDAQ is very, very volatile. We could blow the account in one trade, right? So this brings me to what my current strategy is, right? We do have 50K accounts. We are trading, 40 plus accounts at the moment, including 20 Apex accounts. I'm using TradeSyncer, which, makes me feel better about trading the size because, I like to trade big size. I've always traded big size ever since I started making money with trading. But, the past 5 months have been very humbling for me. I mean, like I said, this is like our first payout in 5 months. We've just been consistently losing. So, I mean, am I pissed off that I had to size down? Yeah. I'm not happy about it. That's for sure, because, I like to make a lot of money. But, I mean, we can still make a lot of money even with the sizing, and it'll be a lot more consistent. So this is kind of what our strategy is, right? So if we open up TradingView here, we have been trading on TradingView as well. We kind of just like see what our strategy is. We'll log into our Apex account here, and I'll show you guys exactly what we've been using for our brackets. Right? Typically, 2 to 4 micros. Okay? Take profit 250 ticks, stop loss 150 ticks. Right? Now, if we look back at our mini scenario, we had, if we follow the same strategy as the previous example, $1,000 TP, drag the stop loss up to halfway once we're close to the TP or whatever. Let's just say we're risking $500 a trade. Forget about whatever I just said right there. Let's just say we're risking $500 a trade, right? We have $2,500 of drawdown. We have 5 chances, right? And that's assuming, we lose every single trade, just go straight to our stop loss, which is about 20, 22, 23 points. No, it's about 25 points, right? It's $200 every 10 points with NQ. So it's about 25 points. So let's just say we're getting fucking stomped, we're counter trend trading, whatever we're doing. We only have 5 chances to survive with this account, with one mini, risking $500 a trade, which, is a decent amount of room. You'd have to be very precise, I think, to trade like this. Which, sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't. And it just takes a lot of plain luck. I think it's just luck, right? I mean, in day trading, it involves a lot of luck, in my personal opinion. Now, we do get an edge, but, even with an edge, we still need a little bit of luck sometimes, right? But the way we could, improve our luck or improve our probability of being successful is by changing our sizing. Right? So instead of risking $500 a trade and only having 5 chances, so that means, if we take 5 losses in a row, we don't just lose that account or all those accounts or all the money in our personal accounts. We're still alive, right? Trading is a big game about survival, which is what it took me a long time to realize, right? Before I was just kind of like, okay, let's try to make it as much money as possible, as fast as possible, and who cares how much money we spend because payout to cost ratios are pretty low in prop firms. Well, I learned very quickly that those can add up very, very quickly if you're just full porting all the time. So instead of having 5 chances, we're only risking 225 per trade, right? And with unrealized trailing drawdown, we could trail halfway through our profits, and still take away like 175, something like that for the TP. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, if it's like halfway to our TP, we could trail it, and we only lose $187 in unrealized trailing drawdown, right? So that's best case scenario. Let's just focus on worst case scenario because that's usually what happens, right? So we have $2,500 divided by 225, which is, if it hits our stop loss every single time, it would take us 11.1 times to blow our account. This would be 11 losses in a row. With my recent rules that I implemented that have helped me tremendously, I will stop after 4 to 5 losses in one day. Sometimes before that, depending on how hard they hit me and my sizing for that day. My sizing does change, but on average, it is around 3 micros. So with this strategy that I'm currently using, we have 11 chances of just straight losses, straight to stop loss. Now, if it goes in a little bit into profit, then goes to our stop loss, we have less chances than 11. But I mean, that's way better than 5, right? And the chances of us being right on a 225 tick move, let's divide that by 4 to see how many points. That's 56 points, right? So not only are we doubling how many losses we have to be able to survive, we're also more than doubling how many points it needs to hit for us to take that loss and for that 11 loss counter to go down to 10, right? Or one per time, go down one life, I guess you could say, right? We have 11 lives there. So just our probabilities of success are increasing just from this, right? We have more points, we have more chances, more lives, more health points, right? It's kind of like we have 11 health points. We'll take one hit from a stop loss, it'll go down to 10. Take another hit, it'll go down to 9. So yeah, we have more leeway for Chop not to flug us, and we have more lives, and we get to take more trades, I guess, or look for better opportunities, or so sometimes we just take a random trade, or sometimes I take a random trade and it's just stupid, right? It's just something that looked good on the candles, and I get caught up in the moment. Now I did switch to higher time frame, so it happens significantly less now. But sometimes, I'm just not in the right mental state, so I start clicking, right? So it saves us from that too. But let's take a look at this recent NQ chart, right? I mean, this right here is just a giant range. It's huge. It's massive. Gigantic. I mean, let's keep that box there, but let's make another box here. Let's see how big this is. I'm using the wrong tool. Price range. Let's see how big this range is. This range is 142 points, 569 ticks. Trading with one mini would be so fucking difficult here, right? I mean, 25 points, we have, unless we somehow catch the top, even if we get somewhere in the middle, I mean, like if we like tried shorting over here, it chopped around, it went into profit, boom, this wick stopped us out. I mean, we could just get completely bugged here with one mini if we're doing the $500 play here. I mean, just think about it. The probabilities are so bad here with one mini going for 25-point stop loss. I mean, you can make it higher, but then your lives go down, right? You only have 5 lives to start with, so you raise it any more, you're looking at fucking what, 2 lives, 2 trades, and you blow your account. I mean, that's just terrible odds. The probability of success is just horrible. You're gonna be losing a lot. I mean, like, what changes as you trade for longer? You start realizing that there's always tomorrow, as long as you survive today, right? You want to be able to trade tomorrow because the market's open tomorrow, usually, right? The market's open fucking pretty much every single day of the week. So there's always another day. So if you have one bad day, don't let that be your demise. I used to do that shit all the time, and I mean, hopefully in the near future I don't do it, but you know, there's always tomorrow. So trade for tomorrow is like my new motto here. And with 3 micros, we have 1/3 of this move to stop us out, right? 1/3 of this range. I mean, the real range is like somewhere around here, right? We only had a few times that we dipped through. So we go for like the real range, and you know, our strategy is to look for sweeps. So we'd probably be entering longs here, or you know, shorts up here when we swept like out of this range, or like double tops. You know, we play like that. So I mean, half of this range right here, let's say we were trading the middle of it because we're just being impatient. I mean, our stop loss is about half of that, or you know, 40% of this move. So we can get fucking, we could enter right here in shorts at the very top. You know, we saw this cliff, it's chopping around. We saw it fail to push lower, so we're waiting. We saw a big push up that failed, so we took a short, let's say somewhere right here. Right, this is our short. We're looking for 225 ticks. You know, I mean, there's probably a good chance that that we don't get like a great entry like this, so we could even bring it down like right there. I mean, this is how many points? This is like 42 points. 225 tick stop loss. Yeah, so even if it went 42 points against us, because we entered here thinking it's going to go off the cliff, fakes us out, stop loss hunts, it wouldn't have got us here. And then it would have went straight to the TP right afterwards. You know, we would have trailed our stop loss, probably. So, I mean, you know, I'm not here to like give you like a strategy session. I'm just trying to tell you whatever your girlfriend says about size not mattering. I'm here to tell you size does matter, right? So 3 micros, I think that's a great size for a 50K. It's still a little bit degenerate, but it's not that degenerate, right? So, you know, less is more in this case, especially if you're stacking 20 accounts. You don't need that $40,000 every 8 days. It's super fucking greedy to go for it. Because, you know, $40,000 in 8 days, like someone works a whole year for that. Sometimes as traders, we forget about how much money we actually make or we lose. It's an insane amount of money. People work an entire year for something we can make in 8 days with Apex. You know what I mean? But, you know, the chances of us getting it in 8 days, the mental pressure, the stuff like, you know, following the rules, thinking about the rules of consistency, oh shit, trailing drawdown, payout in 8 days, I need it in 8 days because, you know, then, you know, I'll be cool, or, you know, I'll be rich, whatever you're thinking. It's like rushing yourself. And rushing yourself will get you nowhere fast, which will probably lead to a lot of blown accounts and a lot of failures because you'll size too high. So what I am proposing for you to potentially get more payouts, and exactly what I'm doing live pretty much every single day on YouTube for free here. So if you want to watch me, go ahead and subscribe and join me in my live sessions. But I'm trying to show everybody and all my viewers is that I've changed my strategy completely from going super degenerate, having barely any chances of success, trying to be like a sniper, trying to be a, master of the candles or whatever bullshit. We're going from that to just taking higher probability trades with bigger stop losses and, of course, bigger TPs and just practicing risk management. And as you can see from the beginning of this video, we just got paid for doing it, right? And we haven't lost any money for almost a month now. So not only are we not losing money and we're slowly gaining money, but we're reinforcing habits that will help us in life, like discipline and stuff like that. So I mean, it's just a good way to think all around. And that's about all I have. I don't want to preach too much. I just wanted to stress that size is very, very, very important when it comes to trading, especially with prop firms, especially with your personal accounts. You want to have the probability slightly in your favor because trading is very, very, very hard to do. So you want to do anything you possibly can to gain an edge in the market. And my edge is, trading. How I kind of gave you like a brief description of my strategy, but I go off price action in sweeps and trends and stuff like that. You could watch me do it live, so I won't go too far into that. But our edge here has significantly increased because of the sizing we chose. And thank you for watching, because I know that took a long time to explain, but I hope that it actually drilled into your head that size really does matter, because it is just one of the biggest things when it comes to trading. Sizing, appropriate take profits, appropriate stop losses that you always obey. You could expand your take profit and trailer stop loss, right? It's not like set in stone. On Friday, we had the same strategy here. We only did one micro, but we shorted over here once we saw it was failing, and we rode it all the way down to over here, right? So we got 100 points instead of just this is pretty much 100 points. We got more than 100 points. Our take profit was like somewhere down here actually. So we went for like 120 points instead of 90 points or whatever this is. So that's always viable too. Letting your runners run is a huge way to improve your edge, because one trade can significantly help you build your buffer, or give you less opportunities to fuck something up, right? If you catch that runner. So it's just simple stuff like that will help you get more payouts, be more consistent with your payouts. This is my first payout in a few months, but last year we ended the year in $200,000 in profit with $310,000 in payouts. I was a lot more consistent. I was trading bigger size, but I was also just like I was just getting lucky a lot, I guess you could say. We were trading prime time, ultimate focus, but we also had a little bit of luck on our side. And unfortunately, this year, that luck has run out, so we had to reduce our risk and, just make our probability for success higher. And I found that through sizing and through holding runners and only taking high probability trades, which, like I said, you can see in my live sessions. So I hope to see you guys there. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And, yeah, comment below what you think, because I know this was about a 40-minute rant. Let me know if I'm just being a dumbass, or let me know if you want more videos like this. Love you guys. Peace out.